cycle update. And it feels so good to be rugged so bad. Good afternoon, class. A supplemental follow-on to our yesterday coverage here at CryptoTalk.fm. My name is Leicester. I'm your host. This, unfortunately, yesterday's was getting to a length where I wanted to kind of wrap it up. I covered enough with what I wanted to talk about. Now I had to do a follow-on, and the follow-on was inspired by a reality that just kind of clicked to me. And I tried, but despite my every effort, and somebody actually commented, why aren't more people looking at your stuff? It's because the consensus drove them away. The consensus told them that I was the problem. The consensus told them I was a liar. The consensus told them I was making stuff up. Now, anybody who listened to my various episodes and actually took the time to verify what I was saying to be the truth will notice a pattern, which is there has not been a single situation where I've said something that wasn't the truth, period. I say what I see. That's why it's easy. That rhymes. I say what I see. If I see it, I speak about it, period. So when people call me a liar, it's because those people don't like to be exposed. They don't like to be called out for their bullshit. Now, I find it ironic that people that are not part of the project known as BlockDAG, the ones allegedly, I should say, not part of the project, are the very ones who attack. The ones who are part of the project don't attack. The ones who are part of the project don't do those things. Now, we have to ask ourselves who the shady ones are then. If you're part of the project and you're not calling that out, but you're allegedly not part of the project and you're saying lies and FUD and all that other stuff, we have to really come to some sort of central point as to who's the shady one around here. Because unfortunately, I've said that these two on the project specifically are shady. They come across shady. They come across to me shady with what they're doing, but also what they're not doing and what they're not saying. But I have to acknowledge the truth, which anybody watching the AMA should acknowledge the same thing. So far, nothing I have observed other than overselling the pre-sale, which they admitted on record, rises to a level of charge. I don't see that. And all I said was, I'm not suggesting you do nothing. I'm suggesting you be smart about it. So those people who were doing that, led by a drunkard, allegedly, those are the problem, okay? So I don't focus there. I speak on what I see, and it's easy. That rhymes. Now, given what I just said, there are people in the project that don't, because there's so much gap, there's so much deficiency in the information being distributed. CEO would say that we had the AMAs. First of all, they were not consistent every day. There was one skip. Second, they talked about a burn every day and then they stopped after doing 1.5. Third, the emails sometimes come late after they've done something. Fourth, not everybody goes to telescam. Fifth, even if they did, a bunch of people getting banned. So there's not a clean central point of communication. Because of this, stuff happens and it's throwing people off. And I've experienced and have observed that there are people that even with my coverage, because the consensus drove them away, because they were misled by that same group, now there's a hunger for information because I'm the only one left doing any sort of substantive, look it up, coverage. I'm the only one that's on the middle and have done. I call them out for the bullshit when I see bullshit, but I'm on the middle, generally speaking. I speculate because I don't know. I'm not like some of those people who speak in absolutes. There's shit I don't know. There's shit that's clear and obvious. I had people, though, to this day, who still struggle with the staking app. And it's because they don't understand what's really going on because the team doesn't communicate worth a half a damn. So it occurred to me that I wanted to do a dedicated episode about the staking app because I learned something in my testing of this thing, of just how much of an outlaw, mud show, rudimentary, rookie tool it is. Now, I got to start from the beginning. And I apologize if you're kind of more advanced in this, but I got to start from the beginning because I'm hoping some of you that do listen to me on a regular basis to CryptoTalk.fm are going to spread the word because I can't do it alone. You have to get those people to actually listen. Then we have to assume that they've got patience to listen to something that's not a TikTok length video because I don't do that. I actually try to give you information. I actually try to educate. I do a little bit of, entertainment, but it's not the focus of what I'm doing. The focus is for you to slow down life, stop freaking out, stop panicking, as many of you do, and just listen, absorb, and then observe. Go and look yourself and validate what I'm saying to be the truth. It's a simple ask, but we live in a society of hurrying and rushing and panic. As a result, they go to influencers who lie to them, and then they get ripped off by various rug pulls, and then they cry and complain, and then they talk about RICO lawsuits with no merit. And I'm trying to help people understand how simple this really is so they can stop getting ripped off. I was there. I was like some of you in 2021. I had to get a clue. It took me going through projects like Satama that were a blatant scam that we didn't know at the time was, but it was obvious something was wrong. That's how BlockDAG feels. It's obvious something's wrong. We can't say blatant scam, not even now. We can say there's scummy behavior. We can say that the oversell, the pre-sale is fraud. We can say that some of their messaging is misleading marketing, which is fraudulent by nature. We can say there are activities they do, which are absolutely sketchy because they're not Americans. There's not really much you can do about those type things. So I figured, let me step back. I'll do what I can. You got to spread the word if you want people to stop asking the same damn questions. Let's start from the beginning of the staking. Initially, it was staking.bdagscan.com, right? That was the site. That site still is there. It doesn't work. It's a buggy nightmare. That rhymes. It doesn't work because the team allegedly, according to an email they sent out, they're doing some sort of maintenance on the network, quote, whatever that means. And allegedly it'll be resolved by Tuesday. Now, of course, that email just showed up after it was down for 24 hours. This hopefully exposes to you when I say they're an outlaw mud show that's not acting like a real business. Can you imagine if Apple, or let's do it better, Verizon, if Verizon decided to take down the fucking cell network and then a day later sends you an email that you might not get if you were one that didn't have home internet that says, oh yeah, we're going to do our network down for maintenance, deep, you'd be absolutely pissed to live it at that. It wouldn't be acceptable. So why would you accept it here? That's what I'm saying. They're not acting like a business. They sent it after they took the thing out. I suspect you're dealing with a communication gap between all the people that we are aware of that are involved in the project, where they're not on the same page. That's what I think is happening. I don't know for sure. So staking.bdagscan.com is basically pointless. CEO on an AMA gave an address. Now, here's the other problem. At no point do they put it in writing, like on their site or on the AMA or on their social. They don't put it in blatant writing in a permanent place so that it's obvious for people that this resource is available for them. Staking.blockdag.engineering is the site CEO recommends you go to. I gave a coverage about this. I did go through it. I have gone through it. Arguably, it's better than staking.bdagscan.com. That's a low bar. But at minimum, it lets you unstake just the rewards without unstaking the whole pot. So that's good. But there's a flaw. So now I've hopefully explained to some people who are confused, who keep going to staking.bdagscan.com. You're stuck in the past. Your first step is to start using staking.blockdag.engineering. Get it in your head. Start using that site. Stop using staking.bdagscan.com. Start staking.blockdag.engineering going forward. Use that site, not the other one. That negates number one, confusion and complaint. Number two, they've announced finally that they're doing maintenance. That means you're not going to be able to do very much right now. That means you have to be patient for Tuesday. Tuesday's when they said they bring it back up. I hope if you spread the word to people, we can stop having the same complaints about why I can't see my coins in this thing. That's because they're allegedly doing some maintenance. You're going to have to wait till Tuesday. Can you just calm down and wait till Tuesday and relax? And if you're one of those who doesn't read email, shame on you, because email is the greatest thing since sliced bread. This is the problem with people who leap to text message and automate what's on your phones. You need to support email. You need to embrace email. Frankly, email is just as fast as a fucking text. Supports formatting, supports infinite characters, doesn't require you to scroll. You can control the spam better. You can put folders. Email is going to help you be better. I'm trying to help you be better. To do that, you got to embrace email because that's where these things are announced sometimes. It just so happens that staking.blockdag.engineering was not, but the network outage was. So again, level 1, stop using staking.bdagscan.com because it's a buggy shit show. Start using staking.blockdag.engineering. Your Uncle Leicester has just told you that. So you have no excuse of saying you didn't know. I just told you, but I have to assume people listening will tell other people. Next step, understand because they sent an email and you should be watching email. If you're not watching email, shame on you, but email is where they announce that they're doing network maintenance. Because they're doing network maintenance and they gave a quote of sometime Tuesday, that means you should just calm down and wait, pull out a good book, and actually read or go to your job and focus on your job and stop thinking about cryptocurrency for just a day or so. It's not going to kill you. I understand. Some might have tossed more money than you could afford to lose. You can't do anything any fucking way. So stop stressing over it. There's nothing you can do right now. Just wait it out. Keep an eye on the media. Keep an eye on the emails. Keep an eye on CoinMarketCap. And by the way, keep an ear on CryptoTalk.fm because I always do those types of significant updates. If you stay up to date on the sources that really matter, you're not going to be left behind, but it's up to you to calm down. Now, I've excluded all of the excuses. We understand what the tool really is, and we understand there's an outage right now. I gave an update that said there appears to be an alternate RPC. I did test it. It does seem to be working. I don't recommend you use it yet. The team needs to officially announce that's it, or they need to fix the other one. So I don't want people to go there in case there's some bug or some issue and it causes you to lose your crypto. That's why I don't want you to do it. It's not because I'm trying to withhold. I don't want you to go through the risk. I'm doing it because I got to cover the shit. I don't want you to take the risk and get your stuff took. For me, I don't care. It's throwaway. For you, it probably matters. That's why I'm not giving that information. It's pretty obvious to guess it, but I'm telling people not to do it right now. The team needs to announce that. And if the CEO listens to my show here, I'm telling you that whoever's doing the email, whoever's doing the socials, I struggle to understand why you're taking down the RPC, which is the heart and soul of a blockchain as added to wallets. When you can't, why can't you just announce that, okay, here's the new RPC, use this one, or here's the temporary one, use this one, or better yet, why don't you forward the shit so that people don't have to worry about this stuff? I digress. Staking.blockdag engineering has one critical flaw, and I was tussling with this. I talked about half of it yesterday. I'm going to talk about the other half today because it took an extended time. As you notice, it took an extended time for me to get past some of this preface because I'm trying to get people on the right tool so they know what I'm talking about. If you're already on, and I'm sorry I had to get the preface because it might have been a waste of your time, but hopefully you will spread the word to get everybody else up to speed with where you're at. When you stake on this, and this has been since they launched staking, but when you stake on this, you may not be aware there are pools. The CEO on one of the AMAs showed a mock-up of what appeared to be the newer version of this staking application. I believe Jeremy was leading some of this. It never showed up. Under the hood, there are pools. I believe there's 6 or 7. You can't see the pools. You can't interact with the pools. You have no exposure to the pools, but the pools are there. When you stake, the tool automatically distributes and delegates to the pools. You have no control over it. You have no control over how many go to which pool. You have no visibility. What you may not be aware, your rewards are also redelegated for the length of time that they're there. They're redelegated across those same pools. So everything staked and your rewards is all delegated and redelegated out to the various pools. Think of a traditional bank. You put money in, or let's say a CD, you put money into the CD. Underneath the hood, you don't see that money is being used to lend to other people. It's being used to invest in other things. That's why they have a 5-year lockup, usually 5 or 10 or whatever it was, because they need to use the money for a period of time. They have to commit money's available for lending. So they use the money. That's kind of the model here. They're using those in order to support the pools. When you go to unstake, here's the flaw. Here's the biggest flaw. The way they wrote the contract, because you can't interact with the pools, and because you can't control the delegations, and because it seems to delegate to every single pool, when you go to unstake, whether it's unstake your initial stake or unstake the rewards or unstake both, it actually needs you to approve each and every pool undelegate. You have to do each and every one of them. So Wallet Connect will then prompt you like 6 or 7 times. If you back out of it, let's say you do one and back out of it, it'll fail. So there's all sorts of fails, and it got me thinking perhaps they're doing the first one, then they back out of it, or it's the Ethereum issue that I talked about yesterday. If you didn't hear that, you need to listen to yesterday's episode, because there's more to that story. You need to go and hear that through, because chances are one of the two, if not both, are affecting you. That rhymes. That if the way they wrote it, there's an assumption that you would have interacted directly with the pools. If you had a chance, you probably would have delegated your entire stake to one pool. If they're going to account for the pools as for any kind of voting DAO, they talked about it, some sort of DAO and some sort of weighting on the DAO, you might choose to delegate to a certain pool that aligns with the way that you want them to vote. That means it would only be on one pool. So when you unstake it, you only have to approve that one time because there's one pool. Because there's multiple pools, because it does it for you, because it delegates to all of them, because you can't see it, the contract, it has to approve each, it's going to prompt you each and every single freaking one, which is terrible coding. But I see what it's doing because I was able to successfully unstake after I understood what it was doing, because my Prism wallet shows me more data than you can see. In summary, the staking application, the staking.blockdag.engineering, it's only slightly buggy. Staking.bdagscan.com is a buggy shit show. Staking.blockdag.engineering is only slightly buggy, and only as far as the fact that there's data you can't see. And because you can't see it, you can't tell that it's doing what it's doing. Because if you, let's say you were to do 2 pools. Okay, I'll pull 1 and pull 2. I'll split it 50-50. That's 2 approvals. You can probably deal with it. There's 6 or 7 pools. So it's a very unintuitive, it's called UX, user experience, to have the thing prompt you over and over again when you think it's broken. And it doesn't give you proper feedback to tell you you're going to get a FYI, you're going to get 6 approvals. Make sure you approve each one before it does it. Then prompt each one and say, pull 1 approved, go ahead and pull 2, and this is called visual management, give you feedback about what's happening so you understand it's not a bug. They're doing it because of this delegation chaos that I wish they wouldn't do, because it's easy to solve. Let the user govern which pools or pool their coins get staked to. Now, it might be the stake's all the same person. In fact, I think it probably is. So it probably doesn't matter, but it would be a better user experience to only do 1 approval versus 6 or 7 at minimum. So, and it sets the preface that at the future, we're going to have pools and visually you're telling people that this is the future instead of right now where it just appears to people to be a buggy shit show. That's okay. So anyway, hopefully that makes it clear. Staking.bdagscan.com, avoid it. Staking.blockdag engineering is not that bad, but still has some weird quirks to it. It doesn't matter anyway, because the RPC was jacked up. They told you after the fact it was jacked up. You might as well be patient and wait till Tuesday until it gets sorted out. When it does get sorted out, understand what the unstake needs. The unstake basically needs you to, it's going to be like 7 or 8 times that you're having to approve things. And you have to be mindful whether or not your wallet's trying to connect to Ethereum. You have a lot to think about, and the tool is not as intuitive as you might think it is. My understanding, MetaMask is a little bit more intuitive with this, certainly than Trust Wallet. Trust Wallet's not. Prism Wallet, I can get around it because I built it that way, but other wallets, they're not built to properly support this thing, and the team never built the Wallet Connect to force the issue like they should have. That's why you're seeing what you're seeing. You're seeing, in my opinion, rudimentary, rookie, outlaw, mud show people that don't really understand the tech that they're putting out. and they're relying on AI, and AI can't solve every problem because you have to have enough technical skill to recognize these things. UX and UI matter, but it assumes that you've done it. These people haven't, clearly have not.